So my record collecting habit started with cereal boxes. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, Post-brand cereals would have these little records embedded into the backs of the boxes. And my favorite group was the Jackson 5. So I wanted every Jackson 5 record that was on the back of a box of Super Sugar Crisps. I had to have them all. And so that became an obsession for me. I didn't even quite realize that they sold records in stores at that time until my mom took me to the record shop in downtown Asheboro, and it was owned by this man named Archie Burkhead. And he was my first record guru. If I had any questions about any single that was on the radio at the time, I would go to the record shop in downtown Asheboro and I would ask Archie, do you have this record? He said, not only do I have that record, but I have this record by Edwin Starr, and this record by Aretha Franklin. And I learned so much about music from Archie Burkhead. In my teens, my sister was going to UNC Chapel Hill, and I would drive to Chapel Hill and come to School Kids Records. And at School Kids Records, it was a whole nother world of record geekdom.
When I first fell in love with music, at a very young age, I already was sort of like deep diving into music beyond what was on the radio, and going into record stores and talking to the managers or clerks there, I felt like I was speaking the same language that somebody could understand me.
They also knew about these emerging bands from North Carolina, like the DBs and Let's Active, and this was later. And I started kind of thinking more in terms of what was coming from my own backyard. By the time I got into college, I learned about jazz, and I learned that John Coltrane came from High Point. I learned that Nina Simone came from Tryon, and that Thelonious Monk came from Rocky Mount. And I wanted to hear this music and to kind of figure out whether you could hear North Carolina in the grooves, you know. Every time I would learn about a new genre, I wanted to find the records associated with that genre, and I wanted to collect all of them. I wanted it all. It turned out that I started working as an editor at Rolling Stone. By then, I had records of all of genres. My record collection had grown to upwards of 10,000 records. So record collecting was a big part of my life for many, many years. I still love music. I still obsess over music, but I don't have every record in the world anymore. I sold most of my collection. I still love record shops, though. There's just something about walking into a record shop, meeting the clerk, talking to him or her about the new records that have come in. Even if I don't buy anything, it's like it's my tribe.
You could find your tribe, yeah. It also felt like a safe place, a place you could go and escape whatever's going on in your life, whatever stress you may be dealing with, whatever family dynamics you're dealing with, whatever. You could go and just be, you know, in a whole nother world and just flip through the records and just block out everything that's going on around you.
In an era where we can stream almost every album that ever existed on our phones, what's the point of a record store?
Well, I mean, music is accessible on your phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because of the difficulties of physical media staying relevant, you know, that outlet had virtually almost died. That's not the case anymore. The vinyl resurgence has brought that back. Now more than ever, people need sort of a place to go, get away from your phone and, you know, talk with a clerk and discover music that they wouldn't have discovered otherwise. And record stores, to me, represent that.
The point of a record store is that there's a community. It's not just about the records, it's about the people that you see. So it's really important to support those record shops, to support the musicians who make the music. Buy their records. It's fun to buy a record, take it home, take this plastic off the top, open it up, read the liner notes. If it's on a turntable and it's vinyl, and hearing the little crackle at the beginning, there's just nothing like that. You cannot get that on a phone or any other kind of device.
One of the reasons why I like working here is I'm inspired when 15, 16-year-olds come into the store or buying records and getting their first turntable, or maybe they're coming in with their parents. And I'm like, well, the future is good. That's important now more than ever, and can't replicate on a phone or digitally. You can only do that physically in a place.
For more on local record shops in North Carolina, check out my article in the April 2025 issue of Our State magazine or online at ourstate.com. And for more videos, subscribe to the Our State YouTube channel.